Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Because without you guys, well, this just wouldn't work. Excuse me, I still have a little bit of this cold, so I'm kind of a little bit hoarse. Now, this is kind of a special edition of the Jobu Sports Report because we normally don't do Thursday night, but I have to go to a birthday party tomorrow evening with the wife. You know, happy wife, happy life. And I'm not sure what time it'll get finished. It's in D.C. It starts at 7:30. So I wanted to make sure that we got our live stream in. And I figure if you guys are like me, you need to vent. So we're going to try something different here. We're going to see how it goes because here at the Jobu Sports Report, it's not about me. It's not about Jobu. It's actually about all of us together. So we're going to try and do a call-in show. Now, we've done some call-ins before, and we had a lot of, I would say probably immature kids that were trying to call in before. And what they were doing is just basically doing grab-ass stuff, trying to, talk just trash and okay, that's what this channel's about. I try to keep everybody on here. I don't want to block people and things like that. And then you have to really be to an extreme for me to block you because everybody has the right to their own opinion. Just remember, this is a family show, okay? We've got kids as young as 8 years old that watch this show. We've got older people like me who watch the show. And we have some lovely ladies. And guys, some of you guys have a hard time talking to ladies. So don't scare them all off out of here, please. Okay? Now, I can't always keep up with all of the responses because the responses, Lord knows, before the show even started, there was already responses in there. So please keep it clean, okay? So with that being said, I just want you guys to realize that today is the 50th anniversary of the Ice Bowl. And here's the thing that's amazing about that is, one, we know that the Green Bay Packers have forever been a thorn in our side. The other interesting thing is when you look at that old footage, you see how poor the picture looks, how the uniforms are, those old helmets and things like that. Yeah, I was alive back then, right? I was 2 years old at the time when that happened. So yeah, I'm that old. But anyway, I'm going to open up the lines and we're going to try and hopefully with my technology challenge self, we'll get a few calls in here. I don't know if anybody's actually out there watching and all that, but this is your opportunity to vent. And I just ask you guys to keep it clean. And one other thing too, I want to thank everybody who has been donating and doing super chats and stuff for the channel. We ended up getting Billy Sarducci, and I know I mispronounced that name. Here, your helmet is on the way. And come Monday night, we're going to be drawing this one. Anybody who already is entered before, and that's all of you people that are in here, and anybody else that does super chats or does any donations on my Jobu page, cowboyjobu.com, are getting entered. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to redo the set, and if this works with this thing, we're going to do it a regular thing where we'll have a dedicated phone line for you guys to actually call into the show and even Skype in and stuff. But it takes time and money and resources and all. So anybody who ends up helping out, I appreciate it. And, to give back, we're going to be giving back with this autographed Jobu Charles Haley signed jersey. And with that being said, let me give you guys the number to call in. And it's real easy, 903-345-JOBU. And we'll take the first call whenever it comes in. That is, if anybody actually calls in, which is one of those kind of scary things when you start putting it out there. What if nobody calls? We're going to do a whole show with call-ins, and what if nobody actually calls? Now, we got a lot going on with the Cowboys. I was working on a video, and again, I just don't have enough time in life to do everything I want. But we're going to have some problems because Black Monday is coming around the corner. And there is going to be a lot of firings out there and a lot of open positions. And we may lose some people. Now, we're not going to lose Jason Garrett. I don't know that anybody's going to be coming after him. But I'm worried about us losing one key person. And I'll save that little tad bit for you guys. I'll get the video finished loaded after the show. But there's some pieces we need to keep. some pieces that we don't want to keep. But we need to, let's see. Okay, here we go. With our first caller.
Call from Axel Gutierrez. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello, what's your name? Where are you calling from? You are our first caller tonight for our first call-in show. How are you doing?
How's it going, Mark? Just saying happy holidays from Orange County, California.
Well, thank you very much. You know, my daughter just headed back to Cali this morning, and it's sad for me to let her go. It's cold as can be out here, but she said it's about 80 degrees out there. So, you know, I'm hating life here. I'm sure you're loving it. So tell me, yeah. So tell me, how do you feel right now about our Dallas Cowboys, and where do we go from here?
So what I want to say is I feel like Josh Norman was right when he said the Dallas Cowboys need to get their money back, commenting on Dez's performance on that Thanksgiving game. I think he was right when he said that.
Well, you know, Dez Bryant right now, he's already said, I'm not taking a pay cut, but I also want to be here. And unfortunately, those two things aren't marrying up. You know, and it's kind of crazy when you think about what he said that, you know, well, I've had tendonitis all season. Okay, and that's why my performance isn't that good. So that's kind of like, okay, we understand if that's part of the reason why you're not able to get free. But then this goes to the general narrative that you can't seem to stay on the field healthy. And as they always say, your best ability is your availability. And we have to get more production. I think part of the problem with Dak Prescott is guys aren't getting open. You very rarely see anybody break, 5-6 yards wide open down the field. And you don't see Dez Bryant able to just beat coverage. And when he does get a good shot, he leads the league in drops. So at $16.5 million, that's just too much money as far as I see. And especially with the amount of holes we have. We need a game breaker. We need an Antonio Brown, a Julio Jones, Green. You know, we need somebody who can get open. But I appreciate.
Yeah, I just don't think that.
Well, I appreciate the call in, and like I said, this is going to become a regular thing. Thank you so much, and enjoy that weather in California for me.
No problem. Will do. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you. All right, so we got our first call in, and we didn't get any grabbing ass out there. But yeah, the Dez Bryant situation, I thought for sure where Dez Bryant left off last year with Dak Prescott, because it seemed like the two of them really started getting together. The last 6 games, he was averaging 17.3 yards a catch. And I just don't know what happened. After that, it just never seemed to work.
Call from.
Hello.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello, you're on the Jobu Sports Report. What's your name and where are you calling from?
All right, my alias. I'm a government is Thorough, and I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Okay. All right. So how do you feel about the Cowboys right now?
Okay, so I'm the one who was on your video saying that I'm Dez.
Okay.
So let me first start by saying that I'm not a Dak hater.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm not delusional about Dak like I believe you are. And I think a lot of fans are trying to find a scapegoat for Dak's inability to be consistent with throwing the ball. And if they do happen to cut Dez or trade him or whatever, you won't have any more excuses. So when he fails, you can't say, well, it's because of this player not catching the ball. We start by saying that. And so the analogy that I use when I deal with Dak Prescott, I use a basketball analogy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you well and clear.
Okay. You have point guards in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Chris Paul type point guard.
Yeah.
And you have a Russell Westbrook type point guard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I say that the slingers are the Chris Pauls, and people like Russell Wilson and Dak are the Westbrook types. They get assists, but it's a different way of getting the assist. It's not a pure point guard. I don't think Dak is a pure quarterback. So he struggles with just being able to finesse the ball down the field a lot.
Okay.
And so people like look at stats and all that, like, yeah, but what about the eye test? You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a finesse quarterback. He can't just throw it like that. That's another point I want to make.
Okay. All right.
Let's see what else. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you could. If you need to come in, you can say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. Thank you for the call. Well, here's what I will say in response as far as Dak Prescott goes. I'm going to say that he is a second-year quarterback. And when you talk to people around the league, and even myself when I look at it, 9 times out of 10, you can predict what is going on in this offense. When you hear Dez Bryant even saying, you know what, this shit ain't working, you're getting players that are saying that it's too predictable. Part of the problem, I think, is we've had Jason Garrett with the simplistic offense, which is the same offense that we've been running all these years. Now, Dak still has a lot to learn, but he's only been in the league 2 years. Now, take a look at a lot of the quarterbacks that have been around for 2 years and see what they've done. Take a look at, say, Golf out with the Rams last year, 4-12. Change of coaching. All of a sudden, he looks like a totally different quarterback. Last year, you could have said, get the guy out of here. He's a bust. But with some better coaching, all of a sudden, he looks a little bit better. You could say Carson Wentz started out pretty good last year and then kind of went downhill. They got him some good receivers and a good running game. They've lost players, but they have consistently been one of the better running teams in the NFL. And guess what that does? When you have everything clicking together and have good receivers that are getting space and getting wide open, faking guys less out of their jock straps, it makes you that much better of a quarterback. I'm not saying that he's going to be Joe Montana. I'm not saying that he's not. All I say is, for all the people that say, get him out of here, he's a bum, he can't do jack, I will say, hold up just a minute. Tony Romo sat on the bench for 5 years before he played his first game and still did not have as many wins as Dak Prescott has already. So just relax. Give the man some time. People were ready to say, Taco was a bust, get rid of him in the first half of the season. Given a little time, all of a sudden he starts looking okay. He's looking more and more like a defensive end. 3 sacks. So that's all I say is chill a little. Let's wait and see what happens. That's all I'm saying. Because everybody who's been out there talking about Tony Romo would have definitely taken us to a Super Bowl. That's why I pointed out that game against the Redskins. He was a veteran quarterback. He got fooled. 3 interceptions in a game winning. In fact, you almost look at it, it looked like it was the same goddamn play. And I've seen Brandon Wheaton throw that same interception. You know what? If you got that many quarterbacks making that same damn mistake, the coaches haven't learned that yet to teach them, don't do that. So maybe, just maybe, because getting quarterbacks is not an easy thing to do. There's not a whole lot of them out there. And feel free, anybody, I'm sorry, let me put the number back up, 903-345-JOBU. In all honestly, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you want him to succeed. If for no other reason is you don't have to use more valuable draft picks on him. And right now, he's dirt cheap, which enables you guys to get back under the cap well, to be able to get some other free agents, and to build a team. Our biggest problem right now is we got some great frontline guys. Sean Lee, when healthy, is one of the best linebackers in the league. But the problem is, you know he's going to miss time. Tyron Smith, when he's healthy and out there, he's killing guys. But if he's not in there, we need to have some guys that can fill in. And that's where our problem lies. That's why the Seattle Seahawks were good for so long, because Russell Wilson, being a later round draft pick, wasn't paid a lot of money. And they could use that to keep their valuable players and sign free agents that help that team. So all you guys that just want to say, F him, get him out of town, stop for a second and say, okay, let's figure out what we need to do to make him successful. Do we need to get a quarterback guru here? Do we maybe need to get a better wide receiver or something? Maybe some better blocking, because Lord knows he's been beat to hell the last half of the season. But whatever it is, let's figure out what we need to do to make him successful. Because ultimately, getting him successful as opposed to getting, say, a Kirk Cousins at $30 million, or trying to move up in the draft and give away more draft picks to try and get another guy, you want this guy to succeed, and he's had some success. It's only his second season. So just pump the brakes a little, is all I'm telling you. Yeah, Clorox Bleach, I know you're not talking with your team that's the number 2 pick in the NFL. Yes, but, how many of those passes were tipped up? Quite a few of them, I would dare say. So, yeah, you got more. Okay, all right, big deal. There's some other guys out in the league that got more out there, too. There are other bum quarterbacks that are out there. It's not like you can say, throw him away, let's get another guy. And before we kind of say that he's just not even an NFL quarterback, go back to 2015 when Tony Romo went out. How many games did we win in that time without Tony Romo out of 11? I dare say 1. So it ain't easy winning in the NFL. All right. I hate. Okay. I hate how Dak gets shit for having help, but whenever Wentz gets help, people say he's the MVP. Yeah, well, this is true. That is what it is. Are we calling in? Yes, Tim. Call in. The number is 903-345-JOE-BOO. So help yourself. Dial in right now, and we're taking calls. Chemistry. Chemistry is a big part of it. Dak is typing. Well, for whom the bell trolls, I have to agree with you on that. It doesn't matter how good Dak and Zeke are. The team has no backups. And that's where the problem lies. We have great frontline guys, but if we do not get some backups to be able to play, because you're going to lose people, then we're going to have the same problems year after year. And I look at, I was fortunate enough to go to New York yesterday. We actually did a photo shoot getting ready for the Super Bowl experience with Demario Davis. I may have a couple other ones that I'm going to do too. I need to actually get some clips, but I've just been really, really busy. And you look at a guy like Demario Davis, who was in Cleveland, Siberia, and basically got to the point where he was ready to just say the hell with it, and I can understand that being in Cleveland. But he recommitted himself. He came back to the Jets, and he's had 124 tackles and 5 sacks as a middle linebacker. Dude is a beast, and he is a free agent, and he's stayed healthy the whole season. And I've got to tell you, dude is huge. If you get a guy like that to play alongside Sean Lee, a guy who plays every down, a guy who gets 124 tackles, and he still has a game to go, 5 sacks, that's what you need. Basically, I think he's getting about $3 million this year. Okay, which is chump change. Now, he's going to demand a whole lot more next year, but 28 years old, and the guy is playing lights out. And that's where I say that money that we're paying Dez Bryant, if we can get enough guys, kind of like what New England does, and I hate to use New England as an example so often, but they've got it down pat. It's not about the 22 starters. It's about all 53. If I lose 3 or 4 of these guys, that's okay, because I've got somebody who's almost as good who can step in and not lose a whole lot. And that is our biggest problem, is that whenever we lose a guy, we lose a Sean Lee, all of a sudden, everything goes to shit. It's just not the same. You lose Tyron Smith, you got to put a Chaz Green in. Chaz Green is as bad as Flowers right now. And Chaz Green has always had a problem staying healthy. He's never been able to play more than 2 games or so without answer mark 864. Sorry, I haven't gotten any more calls in here. Or have I just been missing them? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I actually turned the ringer off and I didn't see him. So go ahead and call in again. I'm sorry. I'm new at all this stuff. I actually need to do a whole switchboard and stuff. But call back, because I do have quite a few voicemails. Good Lord. Okay, let me turn the ringer up here so that way I make sure I don't miss it. Okay, try and call back. I think it's been too many of you in here that you flooded the board because it's like literally 50 messages. All right, good Lord. All right, I'm waiting. Who's going to be the next caller on Joe Boo Sports Report? First, last. Thank you very much for the super chat. Dak isn't the problem at all. I'm a broken record, but Romo, I agree. Romo helped him on the sidelines, and although it's funny, first, last, because people will tell me it wasn't Tony Romo, it was Mark Sanchez. It was both of them, okay? That's part of the thing that I say is the problem. What's amazing is, I'm getting all these notifications of calls that are coming through. Let me see if I can call back. I think, actually, you know what? I think you guys have actually flooded the phone lines because I've got literally message after message after message after message that people, okay, wow. You hear all that? It's message after message because they can't, you've literally flooded the phone line. Wow. Okay. I've got 68 voice messages. I apologize. You know, I suck with technology. Call back. Let's see. Yeah. This is actually amazing. I actually don't know what to do on this. Every one of those beeps is another voice message of people trying to call in. I literally cannot. I apologize. I didn't think we'd have that many people calling in that literally you would flood the phone lines. Let me see if I can actually call one of you guys back. Okay. All right, here's what I'm going to try and do because you guys literally have flooded the phone lines. I'm going to try and call you guys. First last is added in here.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Mark Holmes from the Joe Boo Sports Line. Unfortunately, there's been so many people calling in that the line is just flooded, and I'm getting voice message after voice message, so I'm calling you back. And I have no idea who I'm talking to, but tell me what your name is and where you're from.
Mark Holmes, this is Pablo Martinez. I've thrown some lines on your little deal,
Okay.
here and there. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Unfortunately, I got too many people calling in. So I guess that is what it is. So what was your question tonight, or what did you want to say about the Dallas Cowboys and basically imploding again?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say this to the bandwagon fans that keep on calling for Dak's head.
Yeah.
First and foremost, they don't know nothing about football. All right? I mean, look, what happened last year shouldn't have happened, in my opinion, but it happened no matter what. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing about it, too, is this goes more to just Dak. I mean, you're talking about the defense couldn't stop nobody this year.
Yeah.
We lost Ezekiel Elliott, and Dez Bryant kept dropping passes. I mean, come on.
And don't forget losing Tyron Smith. Losing Tyron Smith was huge as well.
And I'll tell you something about myself. I've been a Cowboy fan since the '80s when they had the catch.
Yeah.
I can remember from that point on when Dwight Clark made the catch, and of course when Danny White almost led him down the field to almost win the game, but Drew Pearson got tackled by a fingertip or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that all the way from that point all the way up to now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the things, and I know some people are going to probably say something to the extreme that you're just being old school, but if you go back to when Jimmy Johnson took over the team and you look at Jason Garrett, because some people try to compare Jason Garrett to Jimmy Johnson, and there is no comparison because Jimmy Johnson ruled that team with an iron fist, and he did not mind cutting people. It didn't matter if you were a second round draft pick or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think you just hit I think you just actually hit on the biggest point in contention that I have personally. Because when you go from Jerry Jones on down, you don't have to be accountable. There is nobody out there. Okay, hey, Jason Garrett, it's okay. We don't make it to the playoffs. It's okay. No problem. You still got your job. You see Jason Garrett on the sidelines clapping. a guy goes out, has a 15-yard penalty. Nobody's in his face saying, "What the hell are you doing?" We can't have that. Guy drops the ball. Switzer drops the ball. Nobody's over there in it.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing that I have a problem with, that there's no accountability. And one of the reasons why I look at a guy like John Gruden, because if nothing else, he's going to hold people accountable for what happens. You don't have a Greg Hardy go after a coach and the head coach is nowhere to be found. You don't have a Dez Bryant have a tantrum in the locker room and the coach is in there trying to keep it all together. That is the biggest thing that I have a problem with. So the players know, if I screw up, whatever. It's okay. Nothing's going to happen to me. So
let me ask you this question. Do you think maybe they should fire Jason Garrett, bring somebody similar to a John Gruden or something, and start cutting people? Let's start with a Dez Bryant, start cutting and start scaring the hell out of people, because I don't see these guys being scared. I mean, when you saw Jimmy Johnson, that guy was the chairman of the board when he was the head coach. You know what I mean?
Oh, believe me, I agree. Yeah, you fell asleep and he was about ready to throw a projector at you. I kind of equate it to Star Wars. The very first one, when the guy screwed up and Darth Vader basically said, "You failed me for the last time," and the guy's, "You're in charge now." Because now all of a sudden you realize that's my ass if I screw up. And that's what needs to happen with these players. They need to know, hey, look, he screwed up. He's the hell out of here. That's not acceptable here. Jason Garrett, we always talk about Jason Garrett's type of guys and this, that, and the other. But I still see problems with the team. I see a Dez Bryant who's having a temper tantrum on the sideline. He's got to understand that it's bigger than you. It's about the team. I still see drunk driving and, different issues and people suspended for, drug use and things like that. So, yeah, I have a problem with Jason Garrett from that standpoint. I even have a bigger problem with play calling and clock management. I feel like we've been doing on-the-job training for 7 years now.
And that's kind of stupid, too, because you look at the Seattle game, and even go back to the Green Bay game back in the playoffs last year, they did not give Ezekiel Elliott the ball as much as they should have. I mean, this guy's rushing 5 yards a carry.
11 rushes,
and you're not giving him the ball. I mean, if he runs 40 times, let him run the damn ball 40 times. I mean, if he gives you yards, throw to him. You know?
Let me grab one more call. Thank you.
Jack shit.
Okay, sorry about cutting you off there. Trying to get as many people as possible.
To accept, press 1.
Hello, Mark Holmes here on the Joe Boo Sports Report. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. Hello? Hello? Okay. Oh, here we go again. Flooded again. All right, so let's try. I'm going to start calling you guys back now. Hellertown, Pennsylvania.
Hello?
Hey, Mark Holmes here from. Hello, this is Mark Holmes from the Joe Boo Sports Report, and I'm calling you back because our lines have literally been flooded and calls aren't getting through.
How you doing, Mark? My name's Marty Youngkins. I'm from Hellertown, Pennsylvania.
Well, hello. How are you doing tonight, man? So tell me, what do you want to vent on the Cowboys
I'm doing great,
tonight?
Mark, and Mark, rather than a question, I just wanted to tell you how much I really enjoy the Joe Boo Sports Report, and you've just done an amazing job. I've been listening to you all year long, and I enjoy not only your point of view, but even like your work videos and the things that you've shown. I think it's great. I love your work ethic. I love your family's been great, and I wondered how much could I donate to get one of your mom's lemon meringue pies that I saw on your show?
Well, the problem is getting it to Pennsylvania. I still have one more in the refrigerator that I'm just taking little pieces of stuff up. But I got to tell you, they are good. And the sad thing about this is Jell-O has stopped making the filling for it that you actually have to cook. So we actually had to mail order and try and get some. So we've actually backstocked her with it, so that way we still have it in the future. But I appreciate the call, man, and I appreciate all the support and stuff from you. So thank you very much.
Well, Hey, Mark, I'll still be donating. I'll make it a pledge to your panel.
I
You've
appreciate
done a
that.
great job, seriously, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we're looking to take this whole thing to another level. I'm enjoying actually doing these call-in shows because it's not about me; it's about all of us together. And I appreciate all the support. And with that also being said, Trent McShay, you're also added to the list, and anybody who ends up ends up donating to my donation site or super chat, you're getting added to the drawing and stuff. And I appreciate all the support. We really want to take this to a whole nother level. This is actually great getting all you guys calling in, and I wish that I could get everybody here on the phone, but it's literally flooding the lines. Tall Comanche, you're now entered too. Thank you for the super chat. I think I'd rather have John Gruden than Josh McDaniels. I remember Josh McDaniels being in Denver, kind of screwing everything over on there. But at this point, I would take anybody. Hello, this is Mark Holmes from the Joe Boo Sports Report, and our phone lines were flooded, so I'm actually calling you back.
How you doing, Mark?
I am doing fantastic. This is actually really cool having you guys to talk to. And who am I talking to, and where are you from?
This is Timothy Hasty, man, of Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. Nice to talk to you, man. So, what do you feel about the Dallas Cowboys, or why don't you go ahead and vent on them tonight?
Man, you know what, Mark? I sent you an email a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about, I wasn't knocking Dak, but I was basically just talking about, the numbers. When you've seen the numbers, like, I don't know, it was 102 passes in his way. Yeah. And he only has like 53 catches, but they talk about all the uncatchable balls that was thrown to him. So that number's kind of, it's screwed, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
I remember that email. Yeah.
I don't get it. Everybody wants to blame Dez and Dak. He's a young guy. I get it, but how much time do we have? You got free agency to think about. He's gonna command a big number. But I don't want to hold you, man. I know a lot of people trying to get in, man. This is amazing what you're doing, Mark.
Well,
have a good night, and I'm going to let other guys try to get through, man.
Believe me, this isn't going to be the last time we do it. This is going to be kind of a regular thing. I realize I need to actually get a separate switchboard doing on my cell phone. It's literally, I'm getting voicemail, clicks, 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 clicks. So I appreciate all the support of everybody out here, and we're going to make sure we take this to a whole nother level next year. So thank you very much for the call-in.
Thank you, Mark, man. Have a good evening,
you
man.
Too.
And, hey, I like what you're doing, man. You're doing a great job.
All right. And, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you picking up my call, man.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
I apologize, guys. It is unbelievable because literally my thing is going off voicemail after voicemail after voicemail because so many people are trying to call in so quickly, and it's literally flooded the line. So I'm going to figure out something else. And here we go. I guess the lines are cleared up.
To accept, press 1.
You're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Steve, how are you doing tonight?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just living the dream with you guys right here on the show. Yeah. So what would you like to vent about on the Cowboys?
Hey, man, I watch this show all the time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, anybody who's supporting the Cowboys right now is truly a diehard Dallas Cowboys because we have been dying really hard at the end of every single year. It hurts the way every year seems to end, be it Green Bay beating us in the playoffs or just missing the playoffs. I am sick to death. And how do you feel about it right now? Steve, you still with me?
Man, come on. You're
yeah, I'm still here. Steve?
Yeah, man. I watch the show all the time, and everything that you said is right.
Oh, I don't know about everything, but I appreciate that.
It's the same thing year in and year out. Jason Garrett has got to go.
I'm still mystified where Jerry Jones, who when he built that stadium, he worried about every single detail too. The type of tile and the location it was coming from. Every TV that's in there, everything in there is perfect. But why is it your coaching staff isn't perfect? Why aren't you putting that same attention to making sure that the team is perfect? Now, my son Michael, he's over here. He's like, it's about the money. But to me, I think about that Super Bowl last year. If we had went to that Super Bowl last year in Houston, everybody would have right down the road. Yeah, everybody would have right down the road and been down in there and spent a shitload of money on the Cowboys. But yet, we are still stuck in mediocrity. And I can't even argue with Stephen A. Smith. Now, Chaz J and Joey, Joey, you're also into the drawing for it. Forgive me, I'm a name butcher. But you guys are added to the mix. We'll do the drawing on Monday. Don't blame Garrett. What can he do? Seriously, nobody can change anything but Jerry Jones. True. And Jerry Jones needs to start by changing Jason Garrett. That's the person we need to kind of look at. We've changed quarterbacks. We've changed, players on the team. We've changed coordinators. Why not try and change the coach? We've had everything else change. Let's try that. Can't hurt.
Call from
Anthony.
Anthony, you're on the line from Arizona. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good, man. How you guys doing out there?
Man, I'm hurting because the Cowboys season is over. I mean, we have this
Yes,
last
sir.
game,
Yes,
but
sir.
it stinks the
I don't
holy
want you too
heaven.
long, man, but I got a question, though.
Sure, what's that?
Let's talk Scott Linehan, our offensive coordinator, man. What's up with that? I mean, everyone has to blame Dak and the head coach, but where are the calls coming from?
Well, Scott Linehan is making the calls because Jason Garrett had the play calling taken from him. But see, most people have a short memory. They don't remember that back when we had the 8-8 seasons over and over again, that Jason Garrett was on the hot seat back then, as well as Tony Romo, because everybody was talking about we need to get rid of Tony Romo. We can't win with him. Now everybody thinks, well, we can't win without Tony Romo. And Jason Garrett lost the play calling, and that's when they brought in Scott Linehan. We're talking about a guy who came from the Lions. Okay. Not saying anything there, but he came from the Lions. And when you look at our offense is completely predictable. It's not that Dez Bryant is running the whole route tree where, we're moving around space, putting in the slot and stuff. Every time he's on the outside, and he's got basically 3 moves. Everybody knows what we're doing. So that's half of the problem with our offense, and Dez is even saying so. Everybody's kind of saying, yeah, we're kind of stagnant. We're not doing anything that's creative. And that's where teams are able to shorten the field because we know the only person who's going anywhere deep is going to be Dez Bryant. And if you hit him close to the line, he's not getting off the line of scrimmage because of injuries and age. So they've shortened the field, so all you have is a dink and dunk. So we got to get a little more creative.
Yeah,
we got to start moving people
man.
around, and that is the offensive coordinator. I know it made me sick when I saw the shot of him going over and getting some water. It's like, no, you don't deserve any water. With the play calling you're doing, put the cup down. You don't deserve any Gatorade at all. You ain't done jack crap. This is holy shit that you're giving us. So, yeah, that's Scott Linehan. And probably what will happen will be is he'll get the axe. Yeah.
What's different from last year's play calling to this year's play calling?
I don't think it's different from last year to this year. I think the difference is you have a Tyron Smith that's hurt. You had the change up in the offensive line. You had Chaz Green that was starting for a while, and it took a while for Lyle Collins to finally get together. And Lyle Collins has been battling injuries. And here's the other thing. You didn't change anything from last year. And in the NFL, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So you had all the offseason for the defenses to figure out, we need to run blitz these guys. Don't just stand there and be passive and wait for the run. Get upfield, make Zeke Elliott have to make a move before he gets a chance to get ahead of steam on. That's the difference. And instead of figuring out how do we counter this, we're still trying to do the same thing. We're still stuck on stupid. At least that's my opinion.
I agree, man. Hey, keep doing things big, man. I enjoy your show. Watch it every day.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man, and thank you very much, man. All right. Whoa. Henry just donated. Wow, you guys are being really helpful tonight. go ahead and try and call in again. Let me hit that number for you guys. Unfortunately, it is like literally swamped. And I'm going to be calling some more of you guys back. This is unbelievable how many of you guys have been in here. And I apologize that I can't get everybody on here. And let's go. This is a 904 number. I am definitely going to have to figure out something a little bit different here on the calls. I guess we're going to have a regular landline here. And we have another super chat. We got Henry Eves, and we have Massive G. Okay. You guys are entered for the drawing on Monday.
Hello?
Yeah, how are you doing? This is Mark Holmes from the Joe Boo Sports Report. And unfortunately, we've had so many calls calling in that our phone lines have locked up, so I am calling you and hope that I have the right person. So what's your name and where are you from?
Mark?
Yes.
Is this you?
This is me. In the flesh.
Wow, I'm happy to be on here. My name is Gage Gary. I'm from Maine, and it's hard being a Cowboy fan up here.
Dude.
Especially with the head coach called Jason Garrett.
Yeah, I tell you what, and that's the funny thing is that you say that, is people say you can't be a Cowboy fan unless you're from Dallas. I dare say it's harder to be a Cowboy fan being abroad. You get a Cowboys fan in Philadelphia or Maine, you're close enough to the Patriots. It's hard. I live here in D.C. and grew up here. And the crap that I've put up with over the years is, compared to what somebody in Dallas would have to put up with, is absolutely nothing. So my shout out to you for being a Dallas Cowboy fan. So tell me, what do you have to say about our Dallas Cowboys after the meltdown we've had again?
Well, I'm impressed, except for Dez Bryant. He's been good the past couple of years, but he started to decline, especially this year. I love him. He's always going to be one of my all-time favorite Cowboys, but I think he cost us the game versus Seattle, and he's just dropping too many balls. And he takes up too much cap space, so I think we need to give him a pay cut or cut him to the curb.
Well, he's already said he's not taking a pay cut, and you look. I'll be honest with you. I don't blame players for not wanting to take a pay cut, because what they literally do to stay on the field, they are taking years off their lives. And the funny thing about the NFL, thank you very much for calling in, and I appreciate the support.
Call from.
The thing,
Mark.
To accept, press 1.
you're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Man. All right. Well, put $50 on the Cowboys for me for next year, okay?
What was that?
Put $50 on the Dallas Cowboys to win the Super Bowl for me for next year.
I got you, man.
Okay. So tell me, how do you feel about the Cowboys right now? What do they need to do to get out of this funk and this same cycle that we've been going through year after year?
I'm kind of with you on that, man. I think they just need better coaching all around. I mean, I can't really pick a person. This is who they need to fire, and this is the person they need to, switch out. But I think they need to do an entire overhaul, up front. I mean, and what I hate is when the Cowboys are losing, everybody want to blame a player. They're not calling the plays. Somebody's designing the plays for them.
Amen to that.
So,
yeah, and that's you got a great point there.
Yeah, I think if anything, Mark, like if you're gonna blame something, you got to blame the source. So, you hear people talk about Dak Prescott or Dez Bryant. Understand that if he's forcing the ball to Dez Bryant, they called those plays.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
Well, and I think, and I think he was trying to force it to Dez Bryant, because he's the quarterback, he's the leader of the team, and his job is to win and keep everybody happy. And when Dez is out there melting down, he realizes, okay, I got to keep his head in the game because I need him. If Dez checks out, what else do I have? Because Dez is the linchpin for that offense as far as the wide receivers go. If Dez Bryant can get deep, just a couple of times, it's going to open everything up for Cole Beasley. But if Dez Bryant is basically a shell of himself and he's getting single coverage and still getting covered, then you can double cover Cole Beasley. Jason Witten is going to make catches, but he's not going to get down the field. So you need a guy who's dynamic to be able to break this thing open. And I don't think Dez is that guy anymore.
I would keep everybody that's on the team. I think you need, just better coaching. I mean, in any sport, if you don't have a coach that knows your strengths and your weaknesses,
without a doubt,
it's like we're just out there playing street football. That's just what we're doing.
And see, and that's the thing about
know what I mean?
Right. Because when you look at, and this is how you know, and thank you, I appreciate very much the call. Here's how you know that Jason Garrett doesn't have it, and that's basically because when we lost Tony Romo, we still tried to run the exact same offense that we had with Tony Romo, but Tony Romo wasn't there. He was a special athlete. He could make things up almost like a street ball game. But Brandon Wheaton and Matt Castle weren't those guys, but you still tried to fit them into it. And you've got to adjust to what a guy's strengths and weaknesses are. And if you can't do that, you're not a coach.
I'm on phone, but
hey, how are you doing? Mark Holmes here with the Joe Boo Sports Report. Who am I talking with?
You talking to Chris Brando. Mark, how you doing? I met you at Arlington Tabernacle.
Oh, man, how you doing, man? It's great to hear from you.
All right, man. It's good to hear from you, man. I'm going to go off a little bit off on the Cowboys. I want to know what exactly are they going to do with Aaron Rodgers since they did the IR and he refused to stay.
They put him back on the IR. Yeah, because, and here's the thing that's always amazing. Could you imagine if that had been the Dallas Cowboys had done something like that? And for those of you guys who don't know, because it hasn't been talked about much, the Green Bay Packers took him and put him back on IR.
I mean, you were spending Zeke for 6 games.
Yeah.
Here it is. It's completely that the NFL is sometimes rigged up like they.
Yeah. I appreciate that, but what happened, guys, is you can't take a guy off IR and put him back on IR unless there's a new injury, and there wasn't a new injury. So technically, the Green Bay Packers are supposed to release Aaron Rodgers if you go by the letter of the law. Now, the funny thing was you heard about it that first day real kind of quiet, and now nobody is talking about it. And, of course, they can get away with it. But if that had been the Cowboys, because you remember when we signed Miles Austin during an uncapped year, we got that $10 million cap hit. So it's not quite apples to oranges when it comes to the Cowboys. But thank you very much, man. And great hearing from you, man.
Hey, it's good. You too. You have a good one.
You too.
Awesome.
My baby.
You're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. How are you doing tonight?
What's going on, one bleep Holmes? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. I just have so many people calling in that we hear everything beeping in here. I've got voicemails galore. I didn't realize how strong Cowboys Nation is tonight and wanting to vent. And I appreciate all the support from everybody.
Man, it's you.
I don't know if it's me, man. No.
Man, keep us up to date.
It's the ineptitude of our team not being able to finish a season properly is what the problem is. And I have been a fan for as long as I can remember, and it hurts year after year having to do these kinds of shows, to deal with knowing that we've got players. It's not a matter of not having players, that we just can't seem to do it. So I've talked too much. How do you feel about it? Tell me how you want to vent. What do you think we need to do to fix this?
Man, basically, we got to be more innovative on offense. We have to make adjustments hella fast. We can't sit here and try to play chess. I like to think that Jason Garrett and coaches like to play chess. They don't come out and be who they supposed to be. They don't come out and dominate. They like kind of just play down to the talent. And it seems like that's the case like most years, like every year.
Well,
like, things that we don't really beat the mess out of them. Like it's like we play around with you.
But here's the thing that always seems to me is it seems like whenever we get to these season-defining games, I don't know if his sphincter muscle just tightens real up, But it always seems like we fall back on the pass when we don't need to. The catch, no catch. Should have ran the ball and got first down.
The 3-yard line.
3-yard line. Yeah, Michael, thank you. My son over there, Michael. The 3-yard line and the 2-yard line. Zeke Elliott is on a mission. And you're telling me you're not going to run the ball there? And even on top of, okay, I understand. You figure, okay, let's decoy a little bit. Let's try and throw some passes in. But then you go to empty backfield and you go to shotgun. That's basically saying, we're going to pass. Forget about Zeke Elliott.
Right.
It's just like, what are you guys thinking? It's like, am I the only one that sees this?
What about that penalty on the third when they try to pass on?
Oh, well, Jason wasn't holding in the end zone. So, yeah, I'm just kind of done with that play calling. But, yeah, it's just hard, man. It's just really, really hard.
And people just got to keep in mind, too, that Dak Prescott started, his offensive line was a difference of 40%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Really couldn't get no continuity, and that plays a lot with rhythm and feel. A lot of people who come in and never really played football. You can really tell, you did. But, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot that goes into football, and it's not just Dak Prescott.
It's not.
His second year, you have your next year.
Right.
Supposed to be playing. You got to take into account all the line, the injuries that he lost, and not being able to get their time, being you guys missing time all throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean,
ridiculous, man.
And you had a first place schedule too. So okay.
We got a lot of people trying to call you, man.
Well, I appreciate the call and I appreciate the support. That's that.
One more thing. I'm a Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. And
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys will play for Carolina for the first time of the year. And hold my phone, man. I'm gonna meet you, brother.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely planning on doing more stuff next season. Some meetups and things. We're probably going to training camp. Definitely going to games, and definitely will be at the draft. So, like I said, this is just the beginning. 2017 was a good year for the show. We're going to make 2018 even bigger. So with people like you that are supporting it, I appreciate it, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you. Yeah, this has been overwhelming, the response that we've been getting. The amount of people that have been trying to call in. I've never actually seen my cell phone literally just going voicemail after voicemail after voicemail. And I mean, literally, these are all of you guys that are doing voicemail after voicemail. I can't even go through and keep up with them.
Call from
Andy.
to accept.
Hello, you're on the Joe Boo Sports Line. How are you doing tonight? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Andy. I'm calling from Brownsville, Texas. Is this Mark?
Yes, this is Mark, the one and only.
Hey, Mark. I want to say, first of all, how much I really enjoy your show.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. And, well, here's my frustration, Mark.
Uh-huh.
From what I see, I'm really scared that they're turning Dak into almost 2.0. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he's scrambling all over the place. He's forcing throws to Dak. And that's just Jerry my fear that Jerry and Jason Garrett are going to turn him into Roman 2.0. What do you think about that?
You know what? When you got a great point on that, because I just sit there and remember that Atlanta game where the guy's teeing off. Clearly, we had nobody that could block Claiborne there, and just the beating that he was taking. When Jason Garrett was asked, "Well, did you ever think about taking him out?" Well, we played for 60 minutes, so no. And it's just like, hold on. Clearly that game is lost. Clearly you don't have it. You don't really have a quarterback. I know everybody thinks that my man Cooper Rush is, the next Joe Montana. But you don't have anybody else. At some point you got to pack it in and say, let's live to fight another day. But you're putting him out there to take a beating on top of a beating without getting any help. And I'm just kind of like, yeah, you really are screwing the man up. So, but I think it's still a lack of creativity and a lack of understanding of football.
I agree with you. I saw the game and I couldn't believe he didn't hit about 8 or 7 times or whatever the case was before he finally got someone in there. And, man, one more year and I see him going down like Homewood. And I don't see any changes coming because I don't think Jerry's going to fire Jason at all until Jerry retires or whatever the case might be.
Well, that may be true, and unfortunately, at the moment, I believe Jason Garrett is still going to be here, unless somehow, some way, there is like a revolt and something major happens. But then again, there's always hope. Jerry Jones usually does. No. Jerry Jones sometimes will do stuff that you literally don't expect. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if we came in Monday and said, you know what, we're going to start over. And everybody's mouth would just drop on the floor. I'd say, yeah, I can see Jerry doing that. Because Jerry Jones likes the limelight and wants to be the guy that everybody goes through. He wants the attention. And he wants that attention so bad he doesn't realize it's to the detriment of the team. I love Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is one of the nicest people that I ever met. Had a great conversation with him, but he owns the team. It's his money. He can do what he wants with it. And if he wants to go ahead and just say, hey, this is just my plaything, and I'm gonna run it myself. Well, there's not much we can do except find another team. But I'm too invested. I'm not ready to go ahead and buy all kinds of new stuff for another team. I'm in it till I die at this point. But
Cowboys for life, Mark.
That's right. I appreciate the call and I appreciate the support. So thank you very much. Man, this has been unbelievable how many of you guys have been calling in. I appreciate all the support and stuff on this channel. I know the season after Sunday ends for our Dallas Cowboys, but it's really just beginning for us because we're not going anywhere. We're going to still be doing live streams on Monday nights, and we'll see about Friday nights as well. But you know, with the Dallas Cowboys, there's always drama. We're going to have the coaching watch next week. You know, is somebody going to be going? Are we going to be firing coordinators? Who's going to be getting cut? We've got the playoffs. I know we're not in them per se, but you know, we still will cover the playoffs, and we're actually going to be live at the Super Bowl as well. So we're going to be giving you coverage like nobody else has.
Call from.
Hello, you're on the Joe Boo Sports Report. You're our last caller of the night. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, the last phone. This is Damien from College Park, Maryland.
Hey, Damien, how you doing, man? You just around the corner, man.
Yeah, I'm right down the street.
Yeah. So you know what it's like being a Dallas Cowboy fan around here, right? It ain't easy, is it?
No, it's not. Not at all.
Yeah. So what's your beef on the Cowboys tonight? Yeah, so tell me, what is your event for the night?
Man, it's I don't think Dez Bryant needs to be released or traded or probably even take a pay cut. He probably does need to adjust his game some, but he's been on the team for a very long time. You know, and
Right.
It's not his fault that the coaching staff hasn't worked with him on other routes or even called different routes. And you also have to look at how, when he was with Tony Romo, it took him a little time to get that relationship together as a quarterback and receiver. And Dak Prescott is a young quarterback. He's not trying to make mistakes. There's routes that other receivers run that Dak Prescott is not ready to throw yet. I'm not saying Dak is a bad quarterback. He's going to be one of the greatest quarterbacks, I think, in the league. It's just going to take some time.
And coaching, coaching as well.
Staff really needs to be.
They need to be doing better with what they're doing. Because here's the thing: you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the skill to teach somebody, you know, I go to my workshop. I got all kinds of tools and stuff out there to make anything. But if you don't know how to run them, having the greatest tools in the world mean nothing. And that's the thing right now.
Yeah, nothing at all.
You need somebody to say, okay, Dak, here's what you got to look at. Okay, you know, you've got to be able to look it off and boom, know it's there. You got to work on those time routes over again, before practice, after practice. You've got to live and breathe it, and you got to have somebody who's been there and knows it that can teach it. And I'm not sure that we have between Wade Wilson, Linehan, and Garrett that they are getting him there. I look at all of the backup quarterbacks that we have. Either they came here with whatever skills they had, or they didn't progress. You're telling me that you had Brandon Wheaton on your roster for a year and a half and you couldn't coach him to win a single game, but he could go to the Texans and in a week and a half win a couple of games for them? Wait a minute. Think about that now. What were you doing with him for a year and a half?
We lost the season when we lost those first games without Zeke, and we looked pathetic out there.
Yeah.
That's coaching right there.
You know,
that's not the players.
Imagine how
we still have
imagine how different the season would have been
to put them in the right position to make plays.
Yeah, but imagine how different the season would have been had we made adjustments against Atlanta. I'm sorry, the Rams, and Green Bay.
move a tight end
Remember,
over to the
we
other side.
had
We
leads
could
in
see
those.
that from 400 miles away.
Right. And here's the thing that you look at. Pete Carroll, he is 47-0 when he's had a 4-point lead at halftime. Say it again. Let me say it again. If he's got a 4-point lead, he's not losing the game. You can't say that about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
We've lost more games that we've been up, and we look around and we lost two games. We lost 2 games to the Lions with Jason Garrett, where we were up by 21 points. Think about that.
Yeah.
How do you lose games like that? How do you lose games? And this is where Dak Prescott gets a lot of flack for the season. But we lost back-to-back games at home where we scored more than 30 points. Imagine if we won those 2. All of a sudden now maybe we're 10-6. Are we still hearing the same thing about Dak Prescott? I don't know.
I like our young corners, Lewis and Rouvier. I like our young corners.
Yeah, they're going to be okay. They, again, need time. And to me, another one of our problems with our team is I question our training staff because it seems like we always have the same injuries, back and hamstrings. So are we doing enough stretching and enough training and working out? Because we've always had a history of lots of hamstring problems. So I appreciate the call in, my man.
Do you think that has something to do with them not practicing anymore with pass on?
Well, I think there's a lot of that. I think actually a lot of the injuries and things are because they don't train and learn how to tackle. Basically you show up on Sunday and it's full go instead of guys doing form tackling where you're reaching across the body, getting your shoulder pads in there, wrapping up. They're just trying to lay a blow, and that's where you're getting all these head injuries. So yeah, that's another one of those things that I think that there's a problem with. But what do I know? I'm just a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll. But I appreciate the call in, my man. We're actually running overtime tonight.
Thanks for talking to me.
I appreciate, man. You guys are freaking incredible. There has to be 200 calls in here. And I appreciate this. This won't be the last time we do this. Apparently, everybody out there wants to vent. I'm going to have to figure out a better system than using my cell phone for the call-in because literally it locked up from all the calls from you guys. Thank everybody for the super chats. I might, depending on what time I get back tomorrow night, we may still have a later live stream because we got a lot to talk about. We've got the game on Sunday. We'll live stream the game. But everybody who did a super chat and anybody who goes to cowboyjoeboo.com and hits the donate button and donates, you're entered into the drawing. And everything that you guys are doing is helping to support the channel, and we're going to be doing a lot more things. So I appreciate all the support from you guys, and I want to thank you for spreading the mojo, and I will be seeing you guys soon.